You are my Lord. I will exalt and praise your name. For in perfect faithfulness you have done wonderful things. Things planned long ago. You have made the city of heap of rubble, the fortified town a ruin, the foreigner's stronghold a city no more. It will never be rebuilt. Therefore strong people will honor you, cities of ruthless nations will revere you. You have been the refuge for the poor, a refuge for the needy in their distress, a shelter from the storm, a shade from the heat. A breath of ruthless is like a storm diving against a wall, and like the heat from the desert, you silence the uproar of foreigners, as heat is reduced by a shadow of a cloud, so the song of ruthless is stilled. Some of our brothers and sisters right now are in a state of war. They are under attack. They are under attack from a foreign power. Here's the thing about war. We have soldiers and governments and the soldiers and governments are fighting at each other because the soldiers are ordered to fight at the enemy. And they're ordered by a government. Sometimes we will find that governments are elected and elected representatives by the people, but not always. And even if those elected officials, they start to take on a mind of their own and may not always represent the people that put them there in office. In either direction, whether it's an autocracy, a dictatorship, a democracy, or however you want to entitle or categorize a government, at a time of war and destruction, those who are civilians are just simple folk trying to get the day's work done, trying to live a life without bothering with government, without bothering about the day-to-day politics that actually makes a government run. They're not part of that. Or if they are part of it, it's once every so many years. Outside of that, they aren't part of it. And there's a multitude of the people. In the Ukraine right now, even as the Russian soldiers are shooting and attacking, there's a cost to shelling a city, and that cost of shelling of the city is the average everyday citizen, and that's who we should be talking about right now. They didn't ask for a war. They really didn't ask for anything other than just to be able to live their life and live the life the way they see fit. And yet, they're the ones that are found in photographs lying in the street dead. They're the ones in Russia that simple everyday folk saying, hey, let's not fight our brothers and sisters in another country like this. Let's not kill them. They're the ones winding up in jails. They're the ones here in Canada that are saying, hey, do something, stop the Russians from killing people. It's not like they a war is fought in some empty field, void of all of these civilians, void of all those innocent people. They are going to be hurt, or otherwise it wouldn't be called collateral damage. Governments lump it all in as, oh, well, that was collateral damage. A daycare is destroyed. It's collateral damage. But the real damage is done because there's a group of kids that can't play today because their toys were destroyed. By a group that they don't even know. Well, and will never meet. And why are we talking about this anyway? Because this is the thing that God doesn't want us to fight each other like that. He asks us to live in peace with each other. To be tolerant of each other's differences, and to the point that we start to love each other's differences. That we embrace the fact that our neighbor might want to do something a little bit different than what we do. And yet, throughout human history, we found new and better ways of actually going to war with each other. We didn't stop swinging sticks at each other. We didn't stop at sharpening those sticks so we could swing them at each other or throw them at each other. We didn't stop picking up stones so we could throw them at each other. We found a way to sling the stone at each other. Hey, well, that wasn't good enough either. Hey, we found that, hey, if we spark this stuff, it makes things go boom. And we started shooting at each other. We started firing rockets at each other. Missiles. Where does it end? Why do we do this? Why do we think we need to do this? When it isn't just Christians, Jews, leaders of Islamic faiths, Hinduism, Buddhism. I could keep going, naming all of the religions to say we are supposed to love one another. I could keep going and finding leaders. Mother Teresa, the Dalai Lama, Gandhi. And they're only the modern people who said we need to find nonviolent ways to come to conclusions to end our disagreements. When all of the fighting is over with, when all of the destruction, the death, is gathered up, tallied in and heaped together, distraught families knowing that a son, a daughter, a mother, a father is not coming back home ever again. When all that is done, the fires are put out. What do these two governments still have to do? These government leaders, they still have to sit down and talk to each other. Why is it so hard to skip the destruction and the death? All the deaths and everything that we talk about that we don't want. Why is it so hard to skip all that part and sit down and talk? Figure out our differences. Maybe it is that the Russians want access to a port that sits in Ukrainian territory. Figure out how we can work together so that we can use that port. Sit down and figure out your differences in culture and how we can all celebrate just being human beings, being children of God. Figure out how we can celebrate that together without firing a gun, shooting a rocket, to do harm to each other. God doesn't want us to do harm to each other. He wants us to embrace each other in love. So, we need to lift up prayers so that global leaders listen to peace. Embody allow the God's Spirit to embody itself in them so that they speak from a point of love, peace, and trust. That we all just learn to live and share our lives together. Let's lift up those prayers now. Lord, our brothers and sisters in Ukraine are in distress. They have a person attacking them, sending soldiers, filling those soldiers full full of hatred and fear, so that they will shoot, destroy, and kill. Help our brothers and sisters on both sides of the fighting learn to put down the weapons and learn to talk things out, in love and in trust. The trust that you have put inside of us, the love that you have put inside of us, because we are all part of you. We're all part of your body, your universe, your love. Help us to spread that love so that we can stop the fighting and start the learning. That we learn to trust. We learn to open up in love so that we all can just simply live and exist. We can be happy. We can feel the plenty. We can feel the sun's warmth. We can feel your love through everything that we do.